I'm back. It's been a minute. Been real busy lately, but I wanted to walk down the woods real quick and tell you guys a story from back when I was probably only 9 years old. Just a little small fry trying to make it in the world, doing cool things like catching fish and trying to live off the land, bushcraft type of things. I would say I was somewhere in the range of 7 to 9. Hogan and Steven were probably a couple years, they're a couple years older than me, so they were probably 9 to 10, 10 to 11, something like that. And we were always really into living off the land and Native American stuff, catching animals or whatever, hunting and, cooking them up and eating them, foraging, that sort of thing, building shelters out in the woods. We used to do that kind of stuff all the time. We get the big idea that it would be cool to go down to the pond, catch a fish, and cook him over a campfire. So that's what we do. We got a little farm pond behind the house. We were little young wild Indians. So we went down to that pond to catch something and try to cook it. The problem is, the only thing in that pond, for the most part, is little sun grannies, basically a bluegill, and all of them in that pond are like this long. So we go down there. Sure enough, pretty quickly, one of us catches one. We reel it in. We go over the hill and we build us up a little campfire. Well, the campfire's going. We've got the fish, and all of us kids had never killed a fish. And we didn't know how exactly to kill a fish. So we got the campfire going. We're all standing around the fish, and the fish is laying on the ground. And we're like, so now what? We're trying to devise a plan to kill this fish and then cook him. Now, there was no insidious motive behind this to torture the fish or do anything like that. We wanted to kill him quick, put him out of his misery, cook him and eat him. Well, cousin Steven gets the idea that the best way to do that is to smack it with a stick. Well, I was kind of thinking, a stick, pop him in the head, clean it, and then eat the thing. He did not have the same idea in his head that was going through my head at the time. No quicker than I think that thought. This dude picks up what looks to be a log. I don't even know how he picked it up. This thing is like, and he's just a kid, this thing is like this big around. A huge dead limb out of a tree, and it's probably like, at the time it seemed like it was 6 foot long. In reality, it was only probably 3 or 4 feet. He turns around, picks that thing up off the ground, comes over his head and just goes, he smashes that fish with that huge dead log. You know how it is whenever you got a dead limb or a log, you can break them a little easier and they'll bust apart, more so than a green limb out of a tree. He hits that fish with all the force that he could muster, smashes into it so hard, right in the middle, like not even on the fish's head, like center mass, body shot, rib cage. The tree limb hits the fish and just explodes into like when you bust a big limb, how it'll kind of chunk off into pieces. So that's what the limb does. And we're all just standing there, and the fish just like a M80 was lit inside of the fish, and that thing just blows up in pieces everywhere. And that thing got absolutely obliterated. And if I remember correctly, we couldn't even find the fish's corpse after he smashed it. He literally smashed it into smithereens, is what the proper terminology is, I believe. Like, the fish was nowhere to be found after he done that. There was no fish. Legitimately exploded. He vaporized it with that dead limb. The events that unfolded in front of us was so wild that we were just standing there in awe that you could actually blow up and vaporize a fish. So we can't find the fish. The fire's still going. We run back up to the pond, and I think one of us ended up catching another one. Actually, I know we did. We take it back down there and cooked it and ate a piece of it. Stupid kids, man.